Beneath that gray skin is a concentration of technology so dense it would make Silicon Valley blush. It's a flying supercomputer, a digital warrior. The cockpit isn't a mess of 1,000 confusing dials and switches. Instead, it's a clean, widescreen display that gives the pilot exactly what they need, when they need it. This jet is designed for a single purpose, to allow one pilot to dominate a huge chunk of airspace without breaking a sweat. It's less of a machine and more of an extension of the pilot's own will. Forget everything you think you know about fighter jets being lumbering, expensive dinosaurs. The Gripen E is a different breed of animal entirely. It's the automotive equivalent of a Koenigsegg, a Swedish marvel that's ridiculously clever, mind-bendingly fast. It's designed to operate from a simple road. It can refuel in the time it takes to make a cup of tea. It can be rearmed by a handful of people who aren't all rocket scientists. The Gripen is happy to sleep rough and still be ready to fight at a moment's notice. Right, let's get down to brass tacks. In one corner, you have the heavyweights. The F-22 Raptor is a stealthy ghost that costs more than a small country's GDP. The Eurofighter Typhoon is a twin-engine brute built by a committee of 4 nations. And the F-16 Fighting Falcon, the workhorse of the Western world, is a legend in its own right. These are the jets that get all the headlines, the movie stars of the aviation world. They are big, they are powerful, and they are eye-wateringly expensive. Then, in the other corner, you have the challenger from the north. The Saab Gripen E on paper, it looks like a mismatch. It has one engine, not two. It's smaller, lighter, and doesn't have the same raw, earth-shattering thrust as a Typhoon taking off. It's not a full-blown stealth aircraft like the F-22. To the untrained eye, it's the welterweight stepping into the ring with a pack of super heavyweights. You'd be forgiven for thinking this is going to be a very short, very one-sided fight. The big boys have the power, the reputation, and the sheer intimidating presence. The Gripen, by comparison, looks almost sensible. But that's where you'd be wrong. Dead wrong. Comparing the Gripen to these jets based on engine count or sheer size is like comparing a scalpel to a sledgehammer. They're both tools, but one is designed for brute force, the other for precision. The F-22 is a phantom, designed to be unseen. The Eurofighter is a purebred interceptor, a rocket ship designed to climb to the heavens and swat enemies from the sky. The F-16 is a brilliant, adaptable dogfighter. The Gripen E, however, is something else entirely. It's a digital predator, a networked hunter that uses its brain, not just its brawn. The Gripen doesn't try to outmuscle its opponents. It outthinks them. It doesn't need to be the fastest or the highest flying if it can see its enemy first, understand the battle space better, and fire a missile before the other pilot even knows they are in danger. While the others were built around powerful engines and airframes, the Gripen was built around a revolutionary computer system and a philosophy of supreme situational awareness. It's not about who has the biggest punch. It's about who sees the punch coming and lands their own first. The Gripen is the underdog that bites. Hard. Talk is cheap. So let's talk about results. For years, pilots and analysts whispered about it at air shows and military exercises. One of the most famous tales comes from Exercise Red Flag in Alaska, the world's most intense and realistic air combat training. And it was here that the humble Gripen started making a name for itself, not just as a participant, but as a predator. The little Swedish jet was getting kills against jets that, on paper, should have wiped the floor with it. It wasn't a one-off fluke. Reports kept trickling out from other exercises around the globe. During a joint exercise with the Indian Air Force, their top-of-the-line Sukhoi Su-30 MKI fighters, massive twin-engine supermaneuverability, were reportedly bested by the Gripen. The Indian pilots were supposedly shocked by the Gripen's agility and, more importantly, its electronic warfare systems that could jam and confuse their sensors. Then came the encounters with the Eurofighter Typhoon. In numerous training scenarios, Gripen pilots have claimed victories. How? Smaller and lighter, incredible turn rate at certain speeds and altitudes. But its real trump card was its electronic warfare suite and advanced data link. It could spot the Typhoon from a distance, share that information with its wingman, and set up an ambush, turning a one-on-one duel into a two-on-one ambush without the Typhoon even knowing. Even the mighty American F-16, a legendary dogfighter, found itself in the Gripen's crosshairs. Pilots praised the Gripen's helmet-mounted display and its ability to fire high-off-bore sight missiles. This means a Gripen pilot could just look at an enemy aircraft and fire, even if the enemy wasn't directly in front of them. The Gripen wasn't just winning these fights through sheer performance, it was winning them by being smarter, more aware, and more technologically integrated. It was a giant slayer. So how does it do it? The answer isn't in the engine or the wings, but in its nervous system. At the heart of the Gripen E is a revolutionary piece of kit. It's Raven ES-05 ESA radar. Think old radars, one big sweeping beam. ESA, thousands of tiny steerable beams, each can point anywhere and do different tasks at once. Guiding a missile, scanning the ground, and jamming an enemy radar, all at the same time. The radar sits on a swiveling repositioner, giving over 200 degrees of view, far wider than fixed radars like the F-16. The pilot can literally look around corners. Then there's the electronic warfare suite, not just jamming, creating digital illusions. It can appear like a flock of birds or like a commercial airliner, or vanish from an enemy radar altogether. The first clean missile lock usually wins, and the Gripen can be an electronic ghost. It can make a more powerful jet blind, deaf, and dumb. Modern air combat is not a series of one-on-one duels like in the movies. It's a team sport. And this is where the Gripen E truly leaves its rivals in the dust. The single most important feature of the Gripen isn't its radar or its engine, it's its data link. Specifically, the Tactical Data Link System, or TIDLS. This is the Gripen's secret weapon. Connects every Gripen in the sky into a single cohesive hunting pack. A single terrifyingly intelligent organism. And frankly, it's a work of genius. Imagine 4 Gripens flying a patrol. The lead pilot gets a faint radar contact far to the east. Instantly, without saying a word, that information appears on the screens of the other 3 pilots. Pilot number 2, from a different angle, adds a piece. The system fuses this data together, creating a much more accurate and solid track of the enemy. Now, pilot number 3, with their own radar turned off, also sees this enemy track. They are completely invisible, yet they see everything their teammates see. This is the essence of network-centric warfare. One Gripen can use its powerful radar to paint a target, and another Gripen can launch a missile using that targeting data. The enemy pilot would get a missile warning seemingly out of nowhere. It's a devastatingly effective tactic. The Gripen Wolfpack can spread out over a vast area, with some jets acting as sensors and others as silent shooters, coordinating their attack with digital precision, creating a 360-degree picture of the battle space. While other jets like the F-35 have similar capabilities with their data links, the Gripen system is famous for being exceptionally robust, secure, and seamlessly integrated. It gives a small group of Gripens the battlefield awareness of a much larger, more expensive force. Why do countries like Sweden, Brazil, Hungary, the Czech Republic, and South Africa choose the Gripen? Well, they don't have the colossal defense budgets of the United States or China. They can't afford to buy hundreds of F-35s and then spend a fortune maintaining them. These nations need a fighter that can credibly defend their airspace against a much larger aggressor without bankrupting the country. They need a giant slayer. And that is precisely the job the Gripen was designed for. Take Brazil, vast territory. Needed a versatile, technologically advanced fighter that was also affordable to operate. The Gripen E was the perfect fit. Technology transfer, co-develop and build. Or look at Sweden. Practice operating from dispersed locations, including public roads, remote airstrips. For these smaller nations, the Gripen isn't just a plane, it's a national survival strategy. Let's pop the hood on this Swedish marvel and see what makes it go. First, the airframe. It's incredibly lightweight, Saab used advanced composite materials to keep the weight down. That's a key reason for its fantastic agility. A lighter jet needs less power to move, turns tighter, and burns less fuel. Delta Wing, Canard. Together they give high-speed stability and low-speed control, letting it point its nose with lightning speed. Powering this frame is a single, magnificent engine, the General Electric F414. An American engine in a Swedish jet? Yes. And it's brilliant. Reliable, powerful, proven. One engine means cheaper to build, cheaper to fly, and easier to maintain, yielding a fantastic thrust-to-weight ratio, rapid acceleration, and even supercruise. Supersonic without afterburner. The real magic is the avionics, the jet's electronic brain, AESA radar, data link. It also has an IRIS, infrared search and track, a passive, powerful thermal sensor that detects engine heat without emitting radar. Pilot can fuse radar, IRIS, and data link onto one clear display for unparalleled situational awareness. And finally, cost. The Gripen E is a bargain. The purchase price is lower than that of the F-35 and the Typhoon. Running costs are in a different league. Saab says it has the lowest cost per flight hour among modern Western fighters. That means air forces can actually afford to fly it. A lot. More flying time equals better trained pilots. A well-trained pilot in a Gripen is far more dangerous than a brilliant pilot grounded by a hangar queen. It's a sensible performance. There are moments in the history of technology that just leave people speechless. The Gripen has produced more than its fair share of them. Picture the scene. A major international air combat exercise. A squadron of brand new F-35 stealth fighters is participating. Everyone expects them to be untouchable. But then the exercise debriefs start to leak out. The F-35s were being shot down, and the culprit was the little Swedish jet that could. Gripen pilots, using Wolfpack tactics, one or two jets would light up the sky. F-35s are stealthiest from the front, so they react and maneuver. As they turned, their side profiles became exposed to the other Gripens, the silent hunters, putting them in position for a weapons lock from the side or rear. Ambushed by two, they couldn't. It was a tactical masterclass that left many experts stunned. Then the highway operation. Not an air show stunt. Real Swedish Air Force wartime practice. They closed a public road, brought in a mobile ground crew truck, and landed a Gripen. Within 10 minutes, less time than ordering a pizza, the jet was refueled, rearmed with new missiles, and took off again. Jaws hit the floor. While other superfighters need pristine mile-long runways and a legion of support staff, the Gripen could operate from anywhere. These moments are proof of a paradigm shift. Air combat is no longer just about being the fastest or the stealthiest. The Gripen proved that being the smartest matters most. So what have we learned? We've learned that the Saab Gripen E is much more than just another fighter jet. It's a stroke of genius born from necessity. Proof you don't need an American-sized budget to build a world-beating piece of kit. They focused on what actually wins fights. Information, flexibility, the ability to put a missile on a target before the other chap even knows you're there. It may not have the outright top speed of a Typhoon or the all-aspect stealth of an F-22. But to focus on that is to miss the point entirely. The Gripen is the WRC champion of the skies, and it uses its intelligence to overcome brute force. It proves that you can have cutting-edge, fifth-generation beating technology without the crippling price tag. Make it one of the most lethal aircraft in the sky today. In the end, the Gripen E is the ultimate underdog. It's a winner. And you can't say fairer than that.